All right, to get started here, in regards to injuries, Jakeem Grant had an ankle, did not finish, and Deion Bush had a left quad. For the game, being able to not pull this out and lose, that hurts. Division game, just like we talk about when we win. Same thing when you lose. You got to understand why. And you go into this game and you go into halftime 10-7, and you really, you want a worst case scenario come out of that thing 10-10 at half. And then, having it there at the end where we're able to have a two-score game, score a touchdown, make it a three-point game, and then they go down and score. I think, that's stuff that we all got to learn from. And I know our players, I believe in our players that they're going to learn from that, understand the why. A lot of stuff to obviously talk about. For the biggest thing for all of us is to understand, like we just talked about in that locker room, is make sure that we look at ourselves after every loss, just like the wins, and regroup, get healthy, and understand the why, and then get back at it, get ready for next week.
From your point of view, can you walk us through the play in which Justin thought he had a free play?
Yeah. So, yeah, they thought that he was not. That they thought the defender was not in the neutral zone. So that's a situation there that we practice at times when you think that they are, and then at the same point in time, I'm going to have to go back and look at it and see how close it was. I thought it was super close, and again, that's one that we all learn from in that situation. But that's one that for all of us we got to. It's so gray, it's so close that the only thing you can do is learn from it.
I imagine you want Justin to be aggressive in these situations. Do you have to look for the flag, or is that just impossible to do?
No, you can look for the flag. It's not easy. And so, again, I think that, Justin, the game that we went through today and where we were offensively with trying to get the run game going and then working some play passes, movements, and then the drop back game, this is a really good one for him to be able to learn from and for all of us. That's a moment right there. It's a coachable moment that he's going to grow from, and we all are when you go through that. But that's just one of those ones I got to go back and look at.
How do you weigh that, man? I mean, it's a mental mistake, but it's a mental mistake while trying to make the smart play.
Right. Yeah, it's it's more so like situational in that situation when that happened, and maybe even if he thought it was a little bit gray, just to put even maybe a little bit more on it, then it's thrown deeper. But that's hard. I think in those moments right there, it's so gray, and it's not easy. It's really not easy. So we gotta use that and learn from it and understand the whys behind it.
What happened between, I guess it would be probably between you and him and the ref on the play where it looked like he was trying to call timeout, and then it ended up being a delay of game?
Yeah. So in that situation, we want to be able to he knows that I'm the one that'll end up calling the timeouts. And I don't know what happened with the refs and why they did or did not, but I think in regards to the formations and the shifts and motions and where we were with the play clock, I think he thought too there might be a pump of the play clock. So I got to get with him and talk to him about that and see. But again, like these are all moments right now as we go through this that are really, for us as coaches and for him and just everybody in the huddle, just making sure that these are the times. I think more so than anything is just really staying with that tempo, getting in and out of that huddle and making sure that everybody understands where that play clock is at, and then if there's a shift or motion, how that works.
When Aaron Rodgers is the opposing quarterback,
mm-hmm.
How small does that make your margin of error, what you guys can do on that?
Yeah, no, it's really small. When he's won a lot of games, he does a lot of good things. He dictates how things go at the line of scrimmage, and so he puts those guys in good situations. But we know that we've obviously faced him a lot. We see where he's at. And you gotta give him credit for that. He's a hell of a quarterback, and he's been doing this a long time. So when you do have opportunities, you got to be able to make the most of them. And again, our players, they'll go back and they'll look at the tape, and we as coaches will go back and look at the tape and understand where we got to be better.
Justin obviously likes to make plays with his athleticism and use his feet to extend plays and pick up yards. How do you communicate to him game situations when he absolutely cannot take a sack by running around doing things like late first half, whatever it may be?
Well, he's a guy that's been doing that his whole career. He can make plays with his legs. So if something's not there, then he's going to look to try to make plays. We tell him that. We want him to do that. So, he's a very smart quarterback that makes a lot of good decisions. And then every now and then there's a lot of quarterbacks that make decisions where you end up taking a sack and you don't throw it away. But you got to get into understanding what happened on the play. You know, was it a protection issue? Was it a Mike ID? Was it he had somebody open? He should have. There's a lot of things that go into it, and after we watch the tape, we'll be able to evaluate it. But I think as you go into this, you understand these in particular third down. You come into this situational football, and now you got to grow from it.
Hey Matt, coming off of that, at the end there when he takes the sack on third down, way down 10, you're on the verge of field goal range.
Yeah.
You guys just trying to get the field goal, or were you trying to get deeper routes and still get the first down?
We had both. We had the opportunity, if it was there, to be able to get the first down. But there's also protection, good protection for us, and then check downs if you can get a catch and be able to get into that area where you can, get three. So Justin knows that. He understands that. And again, there's so much that goes into it. And in a perfect situation, you'd love to be able to come out of their worst case with three. We didn't. And that's where, against what Jeff's saying, against a team like this with a quarterback like they have, you want to be able to execute and take advantage of those situations.
Man, what impressed you the most about Khalil Herbert's play?
Yeah, I really like the way that he ran the football. It was just like last week. I think when he makes that one cut, he sticks that left or right foot in the ground, he gets vertical, he makes some good plays. Unfortunately, he had that touchdown call back too. I thought the line did a great job there and him scoring. But, we need him right now. And he stepped up, and Coach Petru's done a really good job. So as we get through this game, as much as it's not fun when you lose, but you got to be able to learn from it, and we got to get a really good week of practice going and see where he's at, and again keep our guys physically strong and mentally strong. So 2 physical games back to back.
What does it say, Matt, about Khalil too? That there was no Montgomery, there was no Damian Williams. The Packers knew he was going to be the guy.
Right.
He still had a big game.
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
I think that's great. I really do, Jeff. I think that we're going into this thing the last several weeks. You're starting to see a little bit of a trend that some teams, they understand now what we're doing and where we're at. And at the same point in time, we are trying to build an identity, and there's some different players in there, different right tackle. And again, you got to give those guys credit. So how do we put that all together week to week? How do we back that up after a physical game against, the Raiders, come on back and back it up with another physical game, division opponent? And again, the only thing we can do now is be great leaders as coaches. They got to be great players and teammates, come back together, and you got to get a rebound.
And you challenged the spot.
Yeah.
You took the timeout first.
Yeah.
Did you need extra time to see whether?
No, it was they were going no huddle. They were going fast, and so and we know that they do that. But you in a perfect world, you'd love to be able to challenge it and not have that timeout happen. But we didn't have time to be able to see it and really have confirmation. And so I was trying to buy us some time, and it's that risk reward again. You'd love to be able to challenge it and save that extra timeout, but we ended up, we lost the timeout, but saved the challenge and got the 4th down.
Big picture, Green Bay is the team that you guys are always choosing.
Mm-hmm.
This looked more competitive than the games last year. How do you evaluate some progress versus some self-inflicted problems?
Yeah, no, you know what? All that said, it's trust me, this hurts. It stings. It's not fun. Our guys understand that. Whether it's a big loss or a close loss, to us, it's a loss. At the same point in time, we got to understand that where we're at in the season right now and where we want to go, we got to look at it and say, okay, together, where was it? Was it a couple plays here or there? Was it big picture? Do we feel good with where we're at, but understanding, okay, situationally on all 3 phases, can we get a little bit better? And, it's a long season, but at the same point in time, again, I think that's where you got to find the resiliency, and you find the guys that really criticize themselves as players and coaches. Hey, but at the same point in time, you don't point fingers. And we've shown over years that we don't do that. So now we got to be mentally tough. We got to get physically healthy as much as we can, because it's a long season. But then we got to use this as, like you're saying, being positive about it and being able to take this and carry us into a big game next week.
Well, which way do you look at it? Do you look at it like this was better, we were closer, we were more in the hunt than we were before, or we really blew?
Well, I look.
ahead.
Yeah, I look at it, when you go back, if you're comparing to last year in Green Bay, that was an ugly loss. That was a rough loss. Then you go to the one here at home, and again, we had an opportunity of 4th and 1 last year in the fourth quarter, and to be able to convert that and make it I think it was a 5-point game. This year, again, it's about finishing. It's about in those moments. And even to the very end right there with the offense getting down there, down 10, to be able to, worst case, get 3 with 3 timeouts and be able to say, okay, you got to get first downs. We're going to stop the clock, get the ball back, and go down and score a touchdown. That's where I think we just missed it because we didn't give ourselves a chance to get the 3 points, worst case scenario, and we had to throw a desperation Hail Mary.
Man, there's times that Justin looks like there's a guy that's open and he sees it, but he doesn't want to pull the trigger. You see a little bit of hesitation there. I'm thinking like Cole Komet coming across the middle late in that first half. Darnell Mooney and an out route on 3rd and 7. There's it's a short amount of time, but it looks like it.
No, I don't think so. I think he's done a really good job with his progressions and understanding and learning what we want to do. I mean, there's so many things that go into it, and I'm really proud of where he's at. Again, every day he's going to keep growing. Every single day in practice, these games he's going to grow. So if there is a time here or there, maybe, but that's football. Every quarterback has that happen. You know what I mean? So for him, I think he's doing a really good job of making sure that he communicates with us where he's at. And then in the game, he's going to keep getting looks. He's starting to see more and more defenses. He's starting to get more and more timing with these wide receivers and tight ends. So, the beautiful thing about Justin is he's a competitor. He stays extremely positive. He's hard on himself in a good way. And trust me, I know one thing, he'll be ready to really help his teammates get back at it.
What was your immediate after the game assessment of the defense? You guys got to Rodgers in some key plays.
Yeah.
But they still, they ran the ball well, and he still made.
Yeah, they had some big runs there towards the end, and we talked about it in the huddle down there towards the end of the game. Hey, we got to, at worst case, hold them to a field goal and make it a 6-point game, and they ended up getting that touchdown on the scramble touchdown. So again, just the leaders that we have on that defense, they understand where we're at. That defense has been playing really well. And that's a good offense that we played. They're well coached. They got a great quarterback, and so that's a challenge. And so what you do is you look at where you went wrong. The effort by our guys is always there. It never changes. I thought Coach Desai and the rest of the coaches have coached them well and done a good job. So now you just, again, you figure out why. You look at each other. You say, okay, let's pick the pieces up. Let's get right back at it.
Matt, I know you like to say that if you're healthy enough to play in the game, you're healthy.
Yeah.
But Hicks and Mack both appear significantly hampered.
Mm-hmm.
What do you appreciate about them?
Yeah, I appreciate that grit and toughness. I mean, it's those positions they play at, it's physical. It's not easy, and you got to be strong. You got to be tough. You get out there. Then you got to, these guys are warriors. And as a coach, and I know the rest of our coaches, when you see that, you appreciate that and you understand it. But it's a battle down there, man, in the trenches. It's tough.
Coach, when Aaron Rodgers scrambled for the touchdown at the end of the game, he looked into the crowd and he said, "I still own you." That's something that you take exception to, or do you look over the course of his career and say, he's right?
No, I just think for us, we worry about what we do. And, I didn't see any of that or anything like that. And for me, my biggest thing right now is just making sure that whatever we can do to get better and win every game, including Green Bay, we need to do it.